Great crowd on hand here in Darlington, South Carolina for the Too Tough to Tame 200. Still under our first caution here at the Too Tough to Tame 200 from Darlington Raceway. And we get an update on the 5 of Mike Skinner from Ray.
He had that contact on the initial start of the race, guys, and apparently what has happened, it actually took the oil cooler up in the front and jammed it back against the steering box. Now they think there was a line loose there. Skinner came in and pitted. They tightened that line up. They're hoping that that's going to be all the problem. The hood is back down. He's back to the racetrack, and we're ready to go back to green here at Darlington on lap 7.
And the green flag back in the air. Timothy Peters, Justin Lofton, 1 and 2 at the stripe. Again, a good start for Timothy Peters. Let's see if he can clear Lofton going into turn 1.
I don't know if you'd call that clearing. He cleared himself. Lofton had a pretty good run into that corner, and Timothy just moved up a little bit and took the line away from Justin. But that's how you got to do it here at Darlington.
And that was his teammate, so he kind of hoped he would get a little bit of a space there.
Uh-oh. Looked like Austin Dillon almost got in the back of Stacy Compton. Jason White was down on the inside trying to make the move, and Austin decided he needed to get in the corner a little bit deeper to hold off Jason, but the only problem was Stacy was there.
Matt Crafton took a look to the inside of
trouble. And around goes Jason White. Can he keep it pointed the right direction? He stays in the gas. Now he's down on the apron.
He actually forced the 3 of Austin Dillon into the outside wall. They were racing together. They made some contact when they got down in the corner. Jason turned around, but Austin did make some contact with the outside wall.
So Jason White almost goes around,
right
but
away
saves
or go
it.
around. If you didn't blow no tires, you need to go around. Go around if you didn't blow anything.
Take another look at what happened.
Watch as they get down in the corner there. There's the contact right there. That part of the racetrack automatically sends you up to the outside wall, and Jason was going to take that outside line, and Austin was there, and they made just a little bit of contact. Jason tried his best to stay off of Austin. But watch Austin now. Watch him get sideways and get up in the outside wall.
Yeah, that's pretty good contact. But, you know, that's a Darlington stripe. You'll see other guys have that same amount of contact. He could still win the race with a truck that hit the wall that hard. So,
right along with Ricky Carmichael.
Watch what Ricky sees, man. These guys go everywhere. He sees an exit path there around the outside of Johnny Sauter, and he knew he needed to get on the gas and clear that mess.
This is Jason White's on board. Take a ride here at Darlington.
We normally talk about this corner being single file through here.
Listen to him work the gas, Bill.
He did a nice job not letting that truck get up into traffic.
I've got to commend our camera operator too. He was able to keep the camera pointed the right direction even when the truck wasn't. Truck going sideways and we were still headed forward. So you see the 3 of Austin Dillon. He's also going to come onto pit road to check to see if there is any extensive damage to that truck.
And it's early in the going. It's going to get him off his strategy they had planned, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. They can check that thing out, get some tires on it. Adam, what are they saying?
Well, you'll like what his crew chief just said, Danny Stockman. On the radio, he commented, that's exactly what I'm talking about, people being stupid early in the race. Obviously, he is feeling some of that Darlington frustration. They knew there was damage on the right side. They were running back around the 10th position, so they felt like this was as good a time as any to come down, get it checked out, and go ahead and get out of sequence with those drivers in front of them. This pit stop will come at lap 10. You can see extensive work being done to that right fender. The plan is to change 4 tires and then send Austin Dillon on his way. The other driver involved, Jason White, has already been to pit road to get 4 tires on his Dodge. Ray?
And down on my end, they're working on the front end of Mike Skinner's truck. They put some bear bond on the front, and Skinner said not only did he have that other problem, but he felt like the steering had been knocked out of line a little bit. As he rolls through the corner, he says the truck wants to automatically turn to the left, so he's got to hold a hand and keep the steering wheel going to the right.
And so a few making their way on to pit road to take a look at their trucks before we get restarted. We'll slip away. And the field working their way through turns 3 and 4. We're about to go back to green flag racing from Darlington Raceway. In the Too Tough to Tame 200 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
You know, we're only 11 laps in, and 3 guys I thought could win the race have already gone to pit road in the back of the pack. The 2, the 3, and the 5 of Mike Skinner. So
green flag back in the air. Let's see if Timothy Peters, he has a great restart.
He's bringing Ron Hornaday along with him too. Ron will grab 2nd spot away from Justin Lofton. Eric Amarola down on the inside trying to get 4th away.
Some of that experience is working its way towards the front in Ron Hornaday.
A little side-by-side action. Eric Almirola on the inside, Brian Eichler on the outside.
Man, that's so tough to do what Almirola's doing right there, squeezing down on the bottom of the racetrack, but he was able to stay off that truck to his outside.
You saw Brian give him some room, though. Brian went way wide to give him some room down there.
This is the guy I think we got to watch tonight. He was dominant last week in Nashville, and now looks like to me, Phil, he has the same type of truck here.
Yeah, Todd Bodine you're talking about with that Germain Toyota.
Stacy Compton just in front of Johnny Sauter.
Both of these guys with some experience here. Not necessarily in trucks, but in other forms, nationwide and Cup Series.
We saw Stacy Compton looking pretty good in practice earlier today.
Really did. Had a great qualifying run. Qualified up in a 7th position. How about TJ Bell? I was watching him on the restart. They got ready to restart. TJ was up in a 9th spot already. Started back in the 17th position. Running right there in front of the 81 of David Starr. Nice little opening part of the race for this new team.
I watched these two race off turn 2 a lap before, and they about crashed. So it looks like maybe Starr's got a faster truck, and he's going to make the move down on the inside of TJ off turn 4. Tried to do that off turn 2, and it didn't work out quite so cleanly. And he's not done yet, by the way.
Ricky Carmichael right behind these two, driving side by side.
We saw how tough it was for Jason White to make that move down on the inside of turn 1 and 2, and it looked like David Starr's experience told him he needed to back off the gas and let that spot go for now, and TJ Bell drives away from him.
Discretion, the better part of valor there.
One of the differences between the Camping World Truck Series and, for example, the Cup Series, the Truck Series is limited to a certain number of tires when they come here. And so when we came this weekend, because of we hadn't been here for quite some time, they were allotted 6 sets of tires for the day, but they could only start the race with 4 sets of tires. And normally Darlington is a racetrack that just tears tires up, but since they resurfaced it, it holds its speed pretty well.
Yeah, whole different animal. If they would only have 4 sets of tires probably on the old surface, and people, again, they would want new tires every 5 laps.
Right.
So it's a much different racetrack. Very, very difficult, and still as challenging as ever, but you don't have to deal with a give up in the tires.
Now there's 2 ways to go. Ricky Carmichael awful close to that wall. There's 2 ways to get to the front. If Kyle Busch had problems and started in the rear, it would have been highlight reel stuff. 3 wide on the apron, passed every which way.
On lap number 1.
That's the one way. Or you can do it like our buddy Schrader's doing it here. He's just sort of creeping his way to the front, but he's got plenty of time and he knows that, and he can get to the front before the end of this thing rolls around.
And he has that 5 truck of Mike Skinner. Ray talked about how many problems Skinner's already had after the initial start of the race, and Mike Skinner, there he is running with Kenny Schrader.
Looks like he's right in front of that group. Whoa, very close there. The 6 of Brett Butler slowing down right in the middle of this pack.
Wow, what happened to James
Busher slowing down as well.
He had
also off the
getting
pace
into turn 3 for some reason.
Todd Bodine wants to get around. Brian Eichler already did.
I think something happened to that truck, Phil.
I do too. This is a momentum racetrack, but he looked like he lost way too much momentum. Here's on board the Toyota on board of Mike Skinner. There's Kenny Schrader. Kenny's going to lose that spot, it looks like, to Mike Skinner.
Donnie Leah just in front of Mike Skinner, and that's 0-7. So we see the 2 dropping back just a bit now.
You know, I went to the drivers meeting and listened to Wayne Otten tell these guys about race procedure, and he couldn't express or explain how important it was for the lap trucks to hold the bottom of the racetrack. Get plumb down off the track, he said, if you don't have your truck up to speed. And I think we saw right there with our leader splitting guys and going 3 wide, how much difference it makes if you catch those lap trucks in the right spot or if you don't.
Adam Alexander.
Rick, a moment ago, Michael talked about how Ken Schrader can take his time getting through the field because this is a long race and you have to exercise patience. After Austin Dillon had his problems a little bit ago and made that pit stop, they came on the radio and told him this is a long race. We're only 10 laps in. Well, in the last 8 laps, he's picked up 16 positions. He's being patient and working his way through the field, but you wouldn't know it the way he's driving past other trucks, right?
And Adam, Michael's question was, is there a problem with the 31 and James Busher? Not really with the truck, but the problem was he came up on a lap truck so quickly and had another truck on the outside. He had to completely slam on the brakes. It looked like he had almost come to a stop. So as Todd and a few of the other guys went sliding by him, it's not because Busher had a slow truck. It's because he had a slow truck in front of him. He almost had to stop for him.
And this is a momentum racetrack too. And when we talked a little bit earlier that it depends on where you catch a lap truck. If you catch a lap truck in the wrong place like